Hi, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to be participating in a farmhouse DIY challenge, and it's hosted by Heidi Sonboul from Happily Thriving Heidi. And I'll go ahead and list Heidi's channel down below in the description box, so make sure you go and check her out. Also, I'm going to put the playlist down there so you can see what everybody is doing for this challenge. And if you're into Farmhouse, this is definitely the playlist you're going to want to check out. Now let's get going, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I am using these Easter eggs. I know you're probably all going, okay, Easter is this Sunday. We don't need to see any more Easter stuff. But I absolutely adore MacKenzie Child stuff, and I think you can use their stuff all year round. I absolutely love them. And so I'm going to show you how I'm going to use these Easter eggs in kind of a farmhouse look, with an Easter look to it for also MacKenzie Child. So I know that sounds like a lot, but just follow along and you'll see what I'm doing. First off, I thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and take and sand down these Easter eggs and then wipe them down, because they were so smooth and shiny. And so I started off doing that, and then I decided to paint them with this Master's Touch acrylic paint in the titanium white. Now, Master's Touch paint is really thick. I think it's really for more of a canvas type painting, and I use it for everything. If it's too thick for me, I just add a little water to it. That's why I have this little cup here. And I went ahead and just painted these up really good. Now, I absolutely love these eggs that have the three different sections to them. I had a couple of these in there, and so I went ahead and painted these up also, doing the same thing. But a couple days later, you can see my paint is peeling off. Even with the sanding, it didn't adhere. I didn't like, when I sanded it, I didn't like the brush strokes on it. I wasn't crazy about it. So I put them in this box along with some baby's breath that I took out of a basket that I got for a thrift flip. And I had this white paint that I had gotten at Walmart that was on sale for $3. And this was a paint primer stuff. And so I went ahead and spray painted my eggs. I've spray painted them in the past, and it just turns out so much better. So for me, I'd recommend always just spray paint your eggs. It's so much easier. It's quicker. I tried the other because the day that I started doing it, it was just kind of yucky outside. And so I thought, I'll just go ahead and try the acrylic. Better to just wait until it's nice and spray paint them. Now what you see that I'm doing here is I just have this Sharpie, and I'm going to draw the design on these that I want. Now, my designs are not going to be the exact same design that MacKenzie Child's eggs have on them, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have the markers or the paint markers to do that, and with us all being under lockdown, I wasn't going to try and get out to a store just to try and find something like that. I'm just using what I have here at home, which was one of these permanent markers, these Sharpie markers. And the other thing is, MacKenzie Childs, the people who paint their stuff are absolutely amazing at doing it. And I don't even pretend that I am that great at this, but I think that I came off with a pretty good looking set of eggs here for what I can do, and with just a Sharpie and then some paint afterwards. So follow along and I'll show you what I'm doing. Now here I'm just doing these scallops, and first off, you can see I have this black line, and I just painted where the eggs come together, the top half and the bottom half. I just put that black line there because it kind of helps hide it a little bit. Then I put a few scallops on the top and the bottom of that line. And then here right on the top, I'm kind of doing like a little flower type thing. And MacKenzie Child, some of their eggs have like these flower type things all over them. And because I'm not doing exactly like theirs, I didn't go ahead and put this all over my egg, but I still want to have the influence of their type of eggs. So I did put one of these right at the very top. I'm sorry this is a little blurry right here. It clears up. I don't know why my phone was kind of blurry right there. Now you can see I have that all set there on top, and now I'm just going to flip this egg upside down, and now I'm just going to do the bottom part. And all I'm doing is I drew a circle, and now I'm drawing a grid on the bottom to kind of make a check pattern. Now, if you don't feel comfortable being able to do this straight on the eggs with a permanent marker, you can always go ahead and do this with a pencil first, kind of figure out what kind of design you want on your eggs, and then use the permanent marker afterwards. I love using the permanent markers before I actually use the paint, because that way it kind of gives me an exact outline of where it is I know I can go with my paint and where not to go out of that line with the paint. I really like the control here with the marker. And you can see I'm just putting a little check pattern on the bottom, which they are known for their courtly check pattern. So I just added a little bit of a one there on the bottom of my egg. Now this egg here, this is one of the eggs that had the 3 different parts to it. And so I'm putting these black lines where the different parts of the egg come together. I'm just kind of hiding that seam of the eggs. And now I'm just going and making like V shapes all the way around. And then I do the same thing going back the other direction. So it's kind of like just making X's. But once you're done, you stand away, you can see that you get these diamond shapes on it. And again, I'm just using really simple looks. Like here, I'm just using little dashes on the top and the bottom. And then I use these little like half moon shapes at the very top here. And then I just draw a circle at the very, very top. And this egg keeps evolving because I keep kind of changing it throughout the process. And you'll see by the time this video ends, this egg has gone through several evolutions of different designs. Now on this egg, I decided to just kind of go at the top of the egg and draw these lines going straight down to the bottom. And I'm just evenly spacing this egg apart, as you can see there. And then every other section, I'm going to go ahead and do like a courtly checked kind of pattern on it. And I'm just going straight across in lines. Now, when you go to your next section that you're also going to do that black, white pattern to, make sure your lines match up with all the other sections so that one section doesn't have more black squares than what another one does. And now for the sections that don't have these black and white squares, I'm just putting dots on there. MacKenzie Child does do a lot of things with dots. And if you don't want everything black and white, that's perfectly fine. They do a lot of stuff with like gold as well. So you could put gold accents in there or whatever it is you want. I'm just tending to do the black and white in part because I like that, but also in part since this is a farmhouse theme that kind of goes in with that. Now on this particular one, I just kind of drew this rudimentary star on the top, and then I'm just going around it and making it a little bit bigger star, working my way all the way down the egg, trying to keep it evenly spaced as I go until I end up with a star at the other end as well. And now with this one, I'm back to doing the scallops just like I did on that first one, except this time I'm going to do these scallops at where the eggs come together on the bottom, I'm going to do that all the way to the very bottom of the egg. And then at the top where the eggs come together, I'm going to go ahead and do the scallops and go all the way to the very tip top of the egg as well. So the only part that's not going to have the scallops on this egg is that center part. And now with these scallops, like I said, I just go from the center of one scallop to the center of the next, and then work my way right along. And I'm going to go right to the very tip top of this egg, as you'll see. And your scallops are just going to get smaller and smaller as you go. My daughter kept saying, "This is my dinosaur egg." I'm sorry for the flashing kind of colors or lights on this. I was actually listening to the news as I was doing this. This is like one of those things that you can just kind of do mindlessly while you're watching TV or news or whatever it is that you do. So it just kind of gives you something to do while you're doing something else. And now I'm just, again, where those eggs come together, the seams, I went ahead and drew that black line right there. It kind of hides that seam where the eggs are coming together. And as you can tell, this is another one of those eggs that have 3 parts to it. Now for my black paint, I'm using this apple barrel paint from Walmart, and this is in the matte finish. And all I do is everywhere that I have black on my egg, I just go ahead and touch it up with this black paint. And that's why you don't have to worry if you make a few mistakes or get something a little wonky with your marker. You can always fix it with your black paint. Now this egg actually turns out to be my favorite. So I show a little bit more of how I do this one than what I did of the others, but you can do any design that you want. You can follow the exact design of the MacKenzie Child's, or you can just create your own design. And that's kind of what I did here. I kind of use their style as inspiration, but I just kind of make it my own. Like right in here, I'm just kind of making their courtly check look, just freehanding it with my paintbrush. Now, if you want, you can actually draw this out and make a pattern with a pencil first, and then just fill it in with your paintbrush, whatever is the easiest for you. And now we have that all painted, and what I do to let it dry, I just took a little toilet paper roll, I cut them in thirds, and then set the eggs on them to dry. Now I'm going to use some of this Mod Podge in the satin finish, and I'm going to go ahead and cover all these with a really good healthy amount of Mod Podge, just because I want to keep them for years to come, because I really like the way these turned out. And again, I just do the top portion of the egg, let it dry, just set it down in that little tube and let the top dry. And by the time I'm done doing the tops of all the eggs and am ready to start doing the bottom of the first one, the top is already dried. This dries super quick. Just like that. And now here's the finished product sitting in the middle of my dining room table. I absolutely love it. I think it is great. I don't think it's something that I just have to use for Easter time. I picked up this absolutely adorable bunny. It has the green bow, which if you've watched any of my MacKenzie Child videos this spring, you'll know that MacKenzie Child always kind of incorporates in this green, or they do red or golds with their courtly check patterns. And so I added in some of these green hydrangeas from the Dollar Tree, this absolutely adorable bunny that I picked up from Meijer's with this green bow on them. And then I used some of my plain white eggs, which are the exact same type of eggs from the Dollar Tree and from thrifting. They're just your typical colored eggs that I just painted white. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks so much for watching.